Hello, everyone. How did you like my little game music there? I figured it sounded like a Nintendo.
Awesome.
That was real retro.
It was very retro. So, uh, my name's Sarah with Off the Beaten Path Consulting, and we are here just having a business hangout. So we're going to go around the circle here and just do a quick introduction. Dominic, why don't you go first, and then we'll go with Carol, and Forrest will wrap up.
Yeah, well, I'm here to have a little bit of fun and also be little bit relatable towards business. But, well, and, you know, Dominic from Morside Hawk, I fly drones and do other things. And I've got a couple of friends in that have come to my YouTube. So we're going to say hello to Dan. Hello, Dan. So we'll go around the room again.
Sure. Hey, Carol, tell us who you are and what you're seeing today as.
Well, I'm Carol Gator, and I'm a longevity mentor, among a few things. And I just thought this would be fun. Maybe we could learn something from each other, and maybe all of the people that are out there could also learn something. We all own our own businesses, and we're all in different parts of the country or world.
Okay.
So this ought to be a fun experience. Our first time.
There you go. And now I'm going to lean into Forrest here because Forrest is going to not only introduce himself, but he's going to facilitate at least the first part of this conversation. So Forrest, what do you got for us today?
Okay. Forrest Uganin. I'm a money mindset coach specializing in helping solopreneurs like ourselves manage their business and finances. So I'm here because I love the topic of money and I love the topic of business and all things related to it. So this is a great place to hang out and talk.
Love it. And what are we talking about today, Forrest? At least to start.
I guess what we're talking about today is what you told me we're talking about, Sarah.
You picked the topic like 3 days ago.
No,
all right.
Like I just really rolled into this thing like, oh my God, I was busy with a client and now here I am. What are we doing? Oh, Forrest, you're talking about a topic. So what we're going to talk about is, since I just had some recent experience with this, is the interesting concept of 10xing and how 10xing is easier than 2xing. And when I first saw that concept, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, how does this even make sense? But if you just stay with me for a minute, I can make it make sense. And that is because when you're thinking linearly, you're thinking in terms of X effort in equals Y effort out. And then if I just put more of X effort in, then I'll get that much more Y effort out. So for instance, when we have businesses, oftentimes, I would say the majority of times, people start thinking to themselves, well, I did $4,000 this month. So I guess a next great goal would be to bump it up to maybe $5,000 the next month and then $6,000 the following month. That's linear thinking.
Sure.
And so when you think about that, here's the question I would pose to you guys presently here. If you're doing $4,000 a month, and you're thinking of all of the things that it took you to do $4,000 a month, if the challenge next was to go to $5,000 a month, how many different things could you think of to get to $5,000 a month?
So me personally, I could come up how do I say this? The ideas aren't the problem. The time and the effort and the sanity is sometimes the problem.
Right? So let's forget about the time. Let's forget about the effort. Let's just say we're in brainstorming mode right now. Sure. How many different ideas could you come up to go from 4,000 to 5,000 a month?
I think I could come up with a few.
Me
I think
too.
How many?
a few.
Be
I would
realistic.
say if I had to like put pen to paper and be like, these would be ideas that are crazy, and then these would be ideas that would actually work. I would say 2 to 3 ideas would be I could implement them in a month or two time without a huge.
Okay. All right. Sarah's down for 2 to 3. Carol, how many do you think you could come up with?
Well, I think I could come up with 2 or 3, but for me, it would be how many more clients can I get to 5,000? So it's a little different. But
Okay.
I usually pick a higher. I usually say 10,000 is my
All right.
goal. I want to
Okay.
be there.
We'll come back to that. All
Okay.
right. Dominic, how many ideas could you come up with?
Oh, I could come up with probably 5 or 6 different ones.
5 or 6. Now that's
But
interesting.
But that's inside. That's inside the original ones rather than completely new ones.
And see, Dominic brings up a good point. And I think that if most people really were honest with themselves and they were thinking to themselves, well, this is what I've been doing every month to get to $4,000 a month. What would it take to get to $5,000 a month? You would think of all of the things that you're currently doing, and you would just say, well, I just need to do more of this. So if I'm doing this many posts, then maybe I'll do that many posts. If I'm doing this many calls, I'll do that many calls. And so you're thinking about ramping up your activity. And Dominic used an excellent phrase when he said, inside of what he's already doing. And that's how most people think. Now, if I said to you, you're doing $4,000 a month, I need you to get to $40,000 a month. How many of the things you're currently doing could get you from $4,000 to $40,000 a month?
See, I think that would have to go outside your current bubbles that you've created, right?
Yeah.
So I have this bubble of, HR, this bubble of leadership, this bubble of my coloring book, so on and so forth. I would have to go outside that bubble because obviously my current activity within my bubbles aren't getting me $40,000 a month yet. I'm going to start with yet. But yeah, I think it would take you out of that comfort zone, right? Like you'd have to go a little.
What would you be forced to do at that point?
Plan very well.
Maybe next time, Dan.
Well, the funny, like the first thing I is sell my feet on something, but no, I'm joking. Like, no, thinking completely outside the box.
No. Stop. Right there, what you said is something radically different, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
You'd have to be radically different.
Carol, what would you say? What would you have to do?
In order to get that high?
Yeah.
Again, I think of it in terms of customers. So
how many customers equal 40 grand a month?
Yeah.
At least 40,000.
40,000 customers would get
Probably.
you to $40,000 a month. Okay.
Well, a customer spends more than $1 a month, right?
Yes, but they don't all buy every month.
Right.
I'm thinking of moving more than what you're already
right.
doing.
So then let's just assume that
10 customers per 1,000, pretty much.
Okay. So then
10 per 1,000.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let's do
10
it.
per 1,000 would be, so that would be, if my math is right, then that would be 400 customers.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
All right. So 400 customers.
More.
So Dominic, what would you have to be? What would you be forced to focus on, going from 4,000 to 40,000 in revenue?
It's a very good question. It'd be mainly scaling up to larger corporations rather than just the B2B.
There you go. See, so each one of you, instantly you threw your old playbook out of the window.
Yeah.
And you were like, what I've been doing is no longer going to work. And in doing so, it forces you to brainstorm only the things that are going to scale you to $40,000. So Whereas Carol is thinking to herself, well, I need 400 customers. What if Carol came up with something else and was like, 40,000? What one thing could I do that would launch me in that direction? Because all the other stuff is not going to work. Sarah said it in jest, but it was something radically different. And if she were to sell pictures of her feet, she could make that money a whole lot easier than what she's doing right now. Because I was just having this conversation with a friend the other day. There's this childhood star. I won't mention her name right now. She decided to open up an OnlyFriends page. And in the first week, guess how much she made?
I don't even.
$1 million. $1 million. Guess who that was? That was Camille Winbush, the little Nessa from the Bernie Mac show.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. She's grown now. She's grown.
I would hope so if she's
Right?
on that site.
Dominic did what I would most likely think to myself, I gotta stop playing in the weeds dealing with little fruit baskets. I gotta go after orchards. And he said, I've got to move more to corporate stuff. So is it easier to get one big corporate client than it is to get several hundred individuals? Yeah. Now you're focusing on, well, now what do I have to do to get this one corporate client? And see, that's how, did somebody, what? Oh man, now you just nailed one of my dead. I don't know who that person is.
Dan.
That's Dan.
Okay. So the thing about it is,
Thanks, Dan.
10x becomes easier than 2x because you are forced to eliminate all of the fluff, all of the extra stuff, and focus on the one big thing that's going to move the needle. And in doing so, you make what seemed impossible before very possible with either the same or less effort. And if you're making $40,000 instead of $4,000, which one is easier at this point? The 40.
Well,
So
and
that's 10x in a nutshell. It doesn't explain all of the components or anything like that, but that's what's been fascinating my brain recently.
well, and I love the concept. So this last week, I shouldn't say, it was actually like 2 weeks ago or whatever, but it's coming to fruition now. I made a switch in some of my outreach because I was I was under the impression a certain clientele was my ideal client. And I wasn't getting referrals. So I was getting some of those clients, but I wasn't getting referrals. And not because I'm horrible, just that it's hard to do the leadership side of things and admit that you need help being a leader. But one of the things that I started doing was reaching out to big HR companies, like fractional HR, people that do this on a larger scale. And I'm like, look, this is what I do. This is what you do. There are a lot of people, and I figured out there's a lot of people they decline because they're not ready to be part of their bigger scale items. And there's a lot of people that I couldn't help because they're too far ahead, right? Like I'm a one-man show, so I can't do all the big fractional HR things that some of the bigger companies need. So I now have 2 agreements with 2 big HR firms for referrals. So instead of just declining people, they're going to send people to me. And instead of me saying, hey, I can't help you after the initial help, I'm sending them up. And I know that, Dominic, you had said that you were looking at real estate companies more for that same concept.
Yeah. I've upped the level rather than just chatting to the real estate person. I'm actually chatting to I'm actually positioning myself into the head office to see what I can get. And it's not just necessarily one service. I'm now looking at the whole. I was going to say the whole enchilada, but going to head office and looking at various methods and modalities in terms of not just photography, but also their workflow, the way they go about it, and just the general output.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
love enchiladas. Carol, so along this realm, like what would you think would be your way to get those 400 clients? If you were like, I have to get 400 clients in a month or two.
Or
How
the
would you-
equivalent of.
Or the equivalent of.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my business, I do get a lot of referrals. I even
Great.
get some from doctors and chiropractors. And I'm at the other end where I'm just maintaining. I've built my business. I've done all the things. I've organized, and I worked hard, and it was worth it. And then I left my business because I was retired. My husband was retired.
Sure.
And we had some fun traveling and so forth. But you know what? I missed helping people. I missed my people. And so I came back, and they're all still there. They're all still buying the product. And so I started a newsletter. But I'm in a different place than the three of you. I'm not building, I'm maintaining. But if I go back to think about what I needed to do,
Exactly.
yes, I would have to find ways to, like one time I went into a store and I talked to all the customers in the store during their lunch hour. And so picking up all the clerks and the people that worked. I mean, that's one idea, but ideas like that instead of just talking one-to-one, which I did a lot of.
You would have to radically scale up your contacts, your one-to-many contact method.
Because you only have so much time. If you just,
Exactly.
like Sarah said, I'm one person. You
Yeah.
know, I don't have a whole team of people. Well, actually, I do have people under me that are working on doing stuff too, which is
Yeah,
nice.
but they're not your secretaries. They're on your team.
No, they're not.
Right? Like,
Trying to do their thing. Yeah.
right.
They just I happen to be their mentor.
Mhm.
But like you said, the mentor sometimes needs mentoring.
Very true. We all
That
need
is-
coaches.
That's actually an interesting topic to segue into is
Yeah.
when
Yes.
does a mentee, or when do you actually think you need a coach or advise somebody to get a coach? I think that you always need a coach.
Yeah.
Coach and therapy, if you haven't tried them, you should do one of them, or at least
Yeah.
try one of them.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on when do you need a coach?
Just a minute. I just want to say, if
Sure.
I would go back, I would get someone to help me. I would get a coach. I mean,
Good.
there weren't as many out there available when I started 50 years ago. So, yes, I think it's an excellent idea. And
Mhm.
finding a good one would be important.
There you go. What about you, Don? When do you need a coach?
Yeah, I'm gonna just put a case in point there, and let's look at the differences between a coach, a trainer, and a mentor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because from what I see, there are just subtle differences. So
Okay. So do you
Forrest, read the comment real quick. He's having a hard time with your last name. Say it out loud again.
Hugenin.
There you go. I think he got the Forrest part.
yeah.
I'm assuming. Hey,
I hope. I hope.
I was going to say, if you need anything to do with bikes and the like, Dan iFixYet is the first person. Here's another. Yeah. And also, say hello to another good friend from across the pond. Say hello to Michael, Mr. Kitty Cool Cat.
well, thank you all for watching.
Okay.
So, Forrest, what about you with a coach? When do you have you had a coach, and do you have a coach?
Oh, definitely. I have invested thousands of dollars over the years into coaches. And At different points, I've had a coach to accomplish a specific task, but I've always maintained mentors. And
Sure.
I was fortunate enough to meet a gentleman who was very successful in business, multimillionaire, and he serves as my mentor right now.
Love that.
But when I'm engaging in specific quantum leaps, then that's when I will go secure a coach to help me in that specific area. And most recently, the coach I've secured on my team to help me with the AI piece is Russell
Yeah.
Brunson. So,
Okay.
I'm working with his team now, and that's been teaching me so much at this point and helping me. So, coaches, trainers, mentors, I think at some point in your life, you should always have a mentor. But coaches and trainers, I think you bring them in at specific points when you want to accomplish specific big things or fix a problem that's plaguing you.
So I love the number one. I don't hear the words quantum leap in normal conversation often enough.
Yeah,
Number
we
one, I
need
did
to
love
use
the
it more
show.
often, I reckon.
Number two, it is, I think we kind of look at our business as like these small things we do every day, but I don't think that we truly look at how those small things over the course of like a month or two or even a year, right, depending on the time, really can make a huge difference in what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
And I'm doing that on the back end, right? Being a solopreneur, all of us are. We do it all on the back end, right? And then there's that big quantum leap, that big thing that we put forth into the world. And sometimes the best thing about having a mentor is they're going to cheer you when it happens, right? Like they've seen you starting to build it. They've seen you in the middle of building it. They saw it when it was just a baby idea. And now you have, because like you have your spouse or you have your best friend, they're supposed to love you and cheer you on, right? Like you need somebody that is a little outside that world, like somebody that really looks at you from that business perspective to do that. That's just my opinion on how I look at it. So
yeah, agreed.
So Dom, do you have a mentor?
I've got one or two mentors. I've just recently been using someone who I think is very good. It lives locally.
Okay.
And has been really great. So I'm hoping that it's good for everybody. And they're
tongue-tied.
Yeah. No, they're very great. I've met a few as well, and occasionally, sit down and have a chat with them. But from my point of view, that as I said, training, coaching, and mentoring seems to be three different things. So
Yes.
I've noticed that if you've got a trainer, they train you for a specific thing. Coaching is more to get the best out of you, and then mentoring is actually showing you what needs to be done.
So I'm going to come back and address that last comment, though, really quick. So, but I'm going to go to Carol first. Carol, you are a mentor, but in your line of work, right, and in the industry that you're in, you have a mentor, right?
Yes.
Like, because
Absolutely.
it's right, that hierarchy. So have you always had the same mentor? Has that changed over the course of the 50 years you've been doing this, or how does that work?
Well, I had a mentor who started her business kind of like I did she was in her mid 30s and I was started at 40, almost 40. And she worked her business all the way until she died. And she was so simple, so down to earth, and didn't put on any pretense, didn't ever sound salesy. And she would just sit there and explain all these products and what they would do for you. And then she would say very calmly, I don't know what they will do for you, but you will never know until you try them, will you? And people would buy the stuff like crazy. And I just kind of followed her. I went to all her seminars. She was wonderful. So that was my mentor for years until she died. And then by the time she died, I kind of became the mentor for others. So I didn't look for another one.
There you go. There you go.
Was it?
No, that's kind of amazing though, when people have had their small businesses that long, right? Like, and still be successful and still love what they're doing. I think that's an amazing concept. So,
and her son took over her business because it's one legacy, you can pass it down. And yeah, he's doing fantastic because he's building on what she built. So yeah, he's making a lot of money.
So we had a comment, and it was about how a very long time ago, right? The concept of mentoring and even apprenticeships were borderline free in a lot of ways, right? You apprenticed under an uncle or a friend of the family, or you were mentored by somebody to get that job, to get that thing you wanted to do. And now everything from coaching to mentoring to universities that used to be free for people and still are in some European countries, are now, you pay for all of the knowledge we want to have, right? And before, I'm going to ask all of your opinion on this, and I just go back to, I think it's the Good Will Hunting bar scene where, like, you could have learned all of that for 50 cents in late fees from the library, right? Right. And I know Forrest is on the same page with me on this because he and I have talked about learning. I'm like, he loves to learn as much as I do. I haven't had the conversation with Carol and Dominic as much, but we're on way different spectrums of how we learn and all of that. But what are your thoughts on that concept, right? Like, it used to be free, and now we're in this such a pay for play society that we're now here, and all of us coach in some fashion, right? Like, we're helping people, we're doing things for people, and yeah. Do you like them apples? Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when I think about that, I think of, so there's the do-it-yourself method where you're learning and teaching yourself. YouTube University is a great venue for
Concept,
that.
Exactly.
Yes.
But one thing I realized recently, somebody put it in the terms and it clicked, and I said, yeah, that's right. They said it all comes down to a matter of how fast you want to get the result. So you can go to YouTube University and you can do your research and you can put it all together and figure it out yourself. Or you can go to somebody who's done the thing and knows how to show you how to do the thing and turn this journey into this journey. So then you have to ask yourself, what is the financial benefit of shortening this journey to this journey? And that's when paying somebody for their knowledge really takes on its own value.
Yeah, I agree. And you have to determine what is your time worth, right? This is back to numerous conversations again that Forrest and I have had over what is your time worth? So if you're billing, I'm using just round numbers here, you know what I mean? If you're billing $500 an hour for whatever you do, and it takes you 20 hours to learn it yourself, or it would take 2 hours to have somebody teach you, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you got to think about that. What is my time worth, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that we don't factor that in sometimes to our decisions. We're like, well, I don't want to pay them. I can just read it or do it, or sorry, I need to scoot something. But we need to move it or do it ourselves and keep a hold of our own cheese. Because if somebody moves our cheese, it's going to be bad. And
right.
So,
read that one.
Don't touch my cheese.
Haven't we all read Don't Touch My Cheese at this point, right? Or know the concept at least. So, Carol and Tom, what do you think about that concept of learning on your own versus formal learning, for lack of better words?
I think you have to kind of do both.
Okay.
I've learned a lot that I've learned my own, but I told you I had a mentor. And
Yeah.
she was wonderful, never charged me anything because everything I sold, she got a percentage of. So she was getting paid that way, which is a good concept in many businesses. But yeah, I think you need both. I think you can't just say, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to learn all on my own, or I'm just going to go and have someone show me everything. I think that it's a process because sometimes if you don't learn something on your own, it doesn't stick.
Oh, sure.
It just
That can be
doesn't
true.
stick. So I think you've got to have a combination of both.
And I think you need to know yourself a little bit. And that comes back to having a coach and having therapy at times in your life. Like, you know what I mean? If you don't know yourself, then you can't determine, I can learn this on my own and it'll be fine, or I need help with this. If you can't necessarily figure that out or have somebody help you figure that out. Dom, what are your thoughts?
You might not want to take the time to try to figure it out.
True.
Like YouTube, I'm still needing help with that.
I get it.
It gets to a point where I'll look it up on YouTube and see if I can take it in, and if it gets to a point where I get a little bit confused by it, I will reach out to someone. And Dan is asking a question. Let me ask you guys a serious question. Do you think the society we built is making people miserable today? Or do you think we will ever meant to be this unhappy?
Who's unhappy? I'm happy.
Now, to me, you're getting, were we ever meant to be this unhappy? Now you're entering philosophical and spiritual realms at that point.
Right.
No, we all have to discuss the existential crisis.
In practical terms, this society, the way it is right now, is it making people unhappy? That now becomes another philosophical question, because I used to think, before I went into therapy, that the women I brought into my life would make me happy. And then I realized that happiness does not emanate from without. It emanates from within.
I agree.
Hey.
So, you make your own happiness. You create
Long time
your
no see.
happiness. And I think that what was his name? The Holocaust survivor.
Rob.
Was it Elie Wiesel?
I think so, yeah. That sounds
right. He found his own happiness inside a concentration camp. Right? So you could put two people in the same identical circumstances. One of them could say, this sucks, this is miserable, and the other person right next to is seeing the sunrise and they're happy and content. So you really have to take stock and responsibility for your own happiness, in my opinion.
I agree. Dom, that last comment we are not going to talk about today because I could go off on tangents. But we can talk about that.
We need topics for next week. So
yeah, write that down so that we have
good topic for another time.
Yeah, because I could go into ageism and generational problems. It's literally what I'm writing my dissertation about, if anybody cares. But we can talk about that another time. But what I'm agreeing with Forrest. I think that there is a level of happiness is different for each generation. We all have our I don't know another term, our crosses to bear, things that happened in our generation that we had to deal with, that, the world just threw at us, right? And a lot of people, I'm going to go a little bit into his concept with millennials. A lot of people that are not millennials are like, well, the millennials don't have to do anything. They have all the technology. They got everything. Like, why shouldn't they be happy? Blah, 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 blah. They have to deal with all of us. Okay. Like We are their trauma. Gen X, we grew up in such a weird way that I think we're imprinting a little bit of that on our kids. And I can give you some things of the 18-year-old in my life, and all of his friends have some of the same problems. And I know that's more of a Zennial or a Gen Z, but I think from a younger person's perspective in the business world, we have some pretty high expectations of them. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad. From a mentor coach point of view, do we have too high of expectations of people coming into the workforce because we didn't have a great work-life balance given to us?
Just one thing about happiness I wanted to mention. It is, I feel, a decision you make. You decide, I am going to be happy no matter what life throws at me. And life throws, I mean, we've lost a child. We've lost most of the family to cancer. I mean, things happen to you, to all of us. And yet, if inside you say, no matter what life throws at me, I will be happy. Those bad times, yes, they're bad times, but you say to yourself, this too will pass. I'm not going to dwell and live in this state. And sometimes things take time. In other words, if you are so crushed, it takes time to heal. You can't say, heal yourself, and immediately tomorrow you're better. Things take time. But if inside you decide to be happy, then that is the dominant thing that radiates for you. And I can remember, I'm a fairly happy person anyway, even though I've had a lot of tragedy. I remember the time when I made that decision. And it's like the whole universe got around me and helped support me and bring that about. And I'm saying this for you, for iFix, because, you know, I see you struggle. And yes, a lot of people struggle. And 4 jobs is a lot of jobs out there. And I say to you, something better will come. Make up your mind you're going to be happy in whatever you do, and something better will come.
I just to piggyback on Carol, I saw the stuff come across that iFix was posting there too. 4 jobs. If you were Jamaican, they would call you lazy. But you know, that's just
that's a lot.
Different generation. If you ever watch, if you're a Gen Xer, you probably came up on In Living Color. That's the reference I make to the Headleys. All right, but
great show.
I would venture to say that the 4 jobs you are working, to quote my mom, if you can't get a full job that pays all your bills, then you get a piece of a job. That's what she would call it, a piece of a job, and put them together. And I work for regular jobs and own 2 businesses on top of it. So just.
But he's hearing you.
Bro, we need to talk seriously. There's something going on there that I feel in my bones. You could be doing better, more efficiently. But that's a conversation for another time. So take stock. I actually, did you mention that we would be talking about stuff that we're doing, or that we're launching in our businesses this week?
Yeah.
That's our next topic.
Let me take this opportunity to say this to iFix and all the other people who are out there. I am doing a summer kickoff of Money Hero Academy. And this one's going to be different. It's going to have a different spin on it. I have been hard at work with my Russell Brunson group, showing me how to create an app that will actually help you with your money. That's going to be open to people, so you'll have it in your pocket. Number 2, you're going to have a say in what that app says and does. I will be soliciting feedback from everybody involved in this iteration of Money Hero Academy. Then we are not going to only be talking about money, spending, saving, all of that stuff. We're going to be talking about 4 key life areas that actually feed into how you make, keep, and manage your money. So it's going to be a holistic approach, all about that. And it's going to be kicking off next week. So I am taking enrollments this week. So everybody who wants to get in on it should DM me.
Link in the chat as well.
You
Put
can
your link
go
in the chat.
Yeah, you can put in the chat if you want. You can go to my website at intentionalmoneysolutions.com and you can schedule time with me and I'll explain the process to you and let you in on the program. There's so much, I can't fit it in here. I don't want to be greedy and turn this into a commercial for myself.
I'll connect
Well,
you
and
up.
I'm fine with that because I want everybody to say a little bit about what they got going on, at least this summer or whatever. But one of the things that I want us to touch base on, not on this call for us, but I want us to do it on one of these lives in the next few weeks. And we can figure out how to fit that in or whatever. But I want us to talk about, because you said you used 3 words and now I don't remember what they were, but I want to talk about the relationship you have with money.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've talked about that before. A lot of times the reason that we are stuck wherever we are, or we feel like a second part-time job will fix it, or this is because we're actually a little bit, and I'm using a word, people can judge me, we're actually a little afraid of the real money. We're actually afraid to say this is what we're worth, and this is the type of job that I want, and this is where I want to be in life.
Right.
And I think you've said this before in quite a few of your videos, that fear can hold you back.
Yes, definitely. And I'm with you 100% on that. I've been down that road.
Mm-hmm.
I've even been afraid of having more money because something inside me was saying, if I get more money, then something bad's going to happen.
Yeah, and then some people it's like, I don't deserve it. I don't there's a bunch of little devils on our shoulders that are telling us all the things we shouldn't be listening to.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm good with that. Let's put a pin in that, but I want that to be a future conversation. So Carol, with your business, what do you have going on this summer for people? Is there a new product? Is there something that people should reach out to you for?
Oh, yes, there's a new product, but I am starting today, and you'll see it in my post, a series of longevity articles. How do you have longevity? And I'm an old lady.
No.
I don't act it, and I still got all my faculties, and I still got all my joints. But if you want this too, and you want to live healthy all your life, then I think you ought to read my post. And as I say, it's starting today. And yes, I will feature a few things that will help you in the post. And so pay attention when you see them. And I think you'll enjoy it. And it's going to go for 5 weeks. And then I will probably pick another area of longevity and do another 5 weeks.
All right, wonderful. Dom, do you have something new happening this summer? Do you have, if anybody doesn't know, he talks about drone stuff.
Here,
but
so.
What? Oh yeah, it's winter. Sorry, you don't have. You already missed summer with you.
Yeah, summer's coming up, so I'll be working on a number of things. So.
Well, and if people don't know, I know that. I was going to say, how many T-shirts you got going out?
At the moment, I've lost track actually.
Hey, you have a new duck one. Are you putting that duck one on a T-shirt?
Yeah, that'll go on there.
Okay, good. So, there. I don't know if anybody saw, but he'll post it. But I posted something about my ducks are never in a row, but they're always happy in their own little puddle together.
Yeah.
So, like they're never in a row, but they're always like somewhere together. It's all good. All righty. So we are hitting the 45-minute mark, and I think that is a good time frame for 4 people to have a conversation. Forrest already has one phone call set up. He's going to get with Dan and have a conversation at bare minimum.
Yeah, I'll connect you on Facebook.
Yeah, that'd be great. Looking forward to it.
That
So
would be
then I'll
great.
connect you with Forrest, and we'll get chatting.
Perfect. So if anybody can't find somebody else that's on this call, reach out to Dom, Forrest, or Carol, and we can find the other one, right?
Yeah.
So sorry, I only caught this at the end. That's all right. You can join us.
That's
the next
Rob.
One. Wait, what?
Rob's from Wales.
Rob is from Wales. Wonderful.
Yep.
Great. Wait, what time is it in Wales? Shouldn't you be in bed?
Yeah, he's always up late.
It's only 11:30 there now.
Oh, that's not tragic. Okay, my math was a little off.
But
there.
he's always up late.
It's not like Australia.
All right, everyone. I'm going to end our live. And what?
Before we end, let's go around the room. For just
intro people before. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Dom. I'll end and hit the end stream when we're done. So.
Okay. Well, firstly, I also want to say, it is a thing that you really have to take care of your mental health. So let's all do something that is reaching out to people. Anybody, just check on them, just say hello, follow up, just see how you're going. And if you need help, just reach out, because everybody needs some help. So all reach out to someone, and do something really nice. And also gratitude. Find some gratitude. Pick a gratitude every day. Write it down. Pick 3 gratitudes and write it down on a Post-it note, and it'll make you feel better. Also, make your bed.
All right.
And on that note, and on that bombshell.
Well, does anybody want to round out with an intro for the people that don't know us yet? Forrest, intro yourself really quick.
Okay. Forrest Uganin, money mindset coach. I specialize in helping solopreneurs, the guys and gals who are just doing it all themselves in their business, the chief cooks and bottle washers. I think we get left outside of the general money conversation because people who are working 9 to 5s manage their money different from us. So I'm happy to be here to fill that gap and help you. If you've got a side hustle or a full-blown business, I'm your guy.
Wonderful. All right, Carol, you go. Quick intro.
Well, I am Carol Gator, longevity mentor living in Florida, USA. And I just want to tell you younger people on here, longevity does not start after 50. It starts in the beginning. Hopefully your parents fed you right. But if you don't do things right when you're young, you're not going to make it past 60. We see so many people leaving around 60. Tons. So if you want longevity, the cells need to be fed on a daily basis. They need sleep. They need exercise. They need positive attitudes. So you start working on your longevity now. Don't wait until you're 60. That's crazy because it won't work.
Yep. There you go. And if you need tips and tricks, reach out to Carol. All right, Don, intro yourself.
Well, a lot of people do know me.
Yeah, but you don't know who's watching.
Oh, well, okay. If anybody else that doesn't know me is watching, Dominic from Northside Hawk, YouTube celebrity, Australian ambassador to the drone industry, and T-shirt entrepreneur as well. So
wonderful. Well, we appreciate everyone watching. My name is Sarah. I'm with Off the Beaten Path Consulting, and I'm an HR and leadership consultant. So you can check out my links. They're there somewhere, but I'll put them in. If anybody else wants to put their links in there so people make it easy to find you, feel free to go ahead. I'll give you like a 30-second window to go ahead and do that if they're somewhere easy for you to grab. But again, we appreciate everybody and check out everything. Come back next week. Ideally, we're going to do this once a week. I don't know if it'll
I'd
be the
love
same
to.
four faces,
And
but
see if we can. Well, see if we can add. I think what we need to do is we need to find a few more millennials. People in their
Maybe
20s
that's
and
true.
We just got to add a comment. Someone said you can sleep when you're dead. Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, if you don't learn to
Yeah,
sleep
so-
well when you're young, you will be dead.
You will be dead.
Yeah.
good point, Carol. And
Yeah.
the best way to end this. See you all later.
All right.